Assalamu alaikum, sir. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I am Abdul Jalil from Tamil Nadu, India. What was the age of our beloved mother Khadija radiallahu anha when she got married to Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him? Was it 40 or 28 years? We normally generally read in the books of Seerah of the Prophet, it has been said that when the Prophet got married the first time, his first wife was Khadija radiallahu anha, and the Prophet's age was 25, and the age of Khadija, may Allah be pleased with her, it was 40. So why is the questioner asking, was it 40 or was it 28? Because this issue in the tafasirs, there is majority of the scholars says 40. But there are some Orientalists or some critics of Islam who say that the age of Hazrat Khadija, may Allah be pleased with her, was not 40, it was 28. And recently, it's just maybe a few decades earlier, and specifically 5 or 6 years before, there were some Muslim researchers or Muslim Western dais who said that actually the age of Hazrat Khadija, may Allah be pleased with her, when she married Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was not 40, it was 28. And why did they say this? And one famous American dai, he went on to say, and he said that, this was there since the past, and there was difference of opinion, and this hadith is quoted by Ibn Abbas, may Allah be pleased with him. And then he says that, in my humble opinion, I agree with the view that she was 28 because it's more logical that she gave birth to 6 children, and for a woman of the age of 24 to get married and then give birth to 6 children is more logical than a woman of the age of 40. I will come to the reason and logic what is correct, but it is not appropriate that certain Muslims go to the past, and there are differences of opinion, and I'll come to it, but they bring it up and they give half the information, telling that Ibn Abbas said this hadith is correct, but they're not giving the full information. They are not telling that in this hadith, the other narrators, one narrator is very weak, extremely weak and unreliable. So just by giving the name of Ibn Abbas and stopping them saying this, it's not correct. And further, to say and to pose a doubt in the minds of the normal Muslim that, yes, all of us know that for a woman to bear children after puberty is much more chances in her teens, in her 20s. We know that. And medical science says that up to the age of 30, it is more chances. The moment she crosses 30, there are less chances. The moment she crosses 35, it is lesser chances. After 40, it is lesser chances. After 45, lesser chances. So based on this, by saying that in my humble opinion, because she has 6 children, she marrying at the age of 40 and giving birth to 6 children is not that logical as compared to she marrying at the age of 28 and giving birth to 6 children, more logical. Therefore, in my humble opinion, I believe that the age was 28. Now this, I do agree there's a difference of opinion, and I will come to it. But giving half information and then giving a logical information which is also not completely true is not correct. And we'll come to that. Point number 1. Yes, if you see historical records, there are records which say that the wife of the Prophet, Hazrat Khadija, may Allah be pleased with her, when she married, she was the age of 40. This is the majority of the historians and majority of scholars agree. There is an opinion also of one well-known classical scholar by the name of Al-Hakim, who did say that he thought, and he in his opinion, the age of Khadija, may Allah be pleased with her, was 28 rather than 40. Only one. But the majority of the scholars, they say 40. There are opinions also which are not reliable, in which it said that her age was 30. One opinion says that the age was 45. But majority of the classical scholars and all the Islamic scholars, they agree that the age of Hazrat Aisha, may Allah be pleased with her, was 40 when she got married to the Prophet. Now let us analyze. If you compare, there are only 2 hadith which say that the age of Khadija radiallahu anha was 28 when she married the Prophet. And this was narrated by Ibn Abbas, but as I mentioned, one of the chain of narrators, he is very weak. He is extremely weak and unreliable. Therefore, it is very weak. As compared to the hadith, which says that she was 40 years old when she married the last and final messenger, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. And in this hadith, two of these hadith are narrated by Hakim al-Hizam. Hakim bin Hizam, who was the cousin of Khadija radiallahu anha. And he quotes and he says that Khadija radiallahu anha, she was 40 years when she married the Prophet, and the Prophet 25 years. In these chain of narrators of these two hadith, in one hadith also, there is a weak narrator, but he's much more reliable than the narrator in the hadith of Ibn Abbas, may Allah be pleased with him. So based on authenticity, we have to judge based on the rules of the Sharia, not on logic. Logic is important, but logic is last. Logic and scientific evidence comes last. First is Quran and Hadith. So based on historical records, majority of the classical scholars, majority of scholars in Islam agree that the age was 40. Yes, there was some unreliable records earlier. And if that someone knows, if you do research, you come to know it's not reliable. And furthermore, if you analyze that Ibn Abbas, may Allah be pleased with him, he was born close to the death of Khadija, may Allah be pleased with her. He wasn't alive when she was married to the Prophet. Whereas her cousin, Hakim al-Hizam, he was 2 years younger than Khadija radiallahu anha and 13 years older to the Prophet. So, but natural, his narration will carry a bigger weight as compared to Ibn Abbas, may Allah be pleased with him, whom I have heard from someone and then narrated it. Furthermore, besides 4 hadith saying that she was 40, there are other hadith which also corroborate and give further strength to the hadith. There are other hadith which say that when Khadija radiallahu anha, when she died, her age was 65, and she died in the 10th year after the Prophet started proclaiming the message, after 25 years of marriage. So if you go backward, she died at the age of 25, she was married for 25 years. In the 10th year, when the Prophet proclaimed the message, if you go back 25 years, from 65, you get an answer of 40. So there are other hadith which corroborate and they affirm that the age was 40. Furthermore, just throwing some information scientific and not giving the complete information may throw doubt. These are done by critics, but unfortunately, some of the Muslims, just to show that they want to make Islam more palatable and they want to say, okay, it's more logical, why go 40, why not agree with 28? They dig up something, and I do agree that they're different, but the difference is very minor. And majority of the classical scholars, they believe that she was 40. Therefore, hardly you'll find in the book of Sirah that it is mentioned that she was 28 when she married the Prophet. Whether you read Tabari, whether you read all the classical historians, it was 40. Regarding the statement, and we know that Khadija, may Allah be pleased with her, she bore 6 children to the Prophet. 4 were daughters and 2 were sons. And today science tells us that the age of pregnancy for a woman is after she reaches puberty till menopause. And if you Google, they say, okay, approximate from the age of 12 to the age of 51. Now this is approximate, not exact. We know very well today, girls, even of the age of 11, they reach puberty. Even the age of 10, even the age of 9 is not uncommon. I, being a medical doctor in India, I know many girls who at the age of 9, they reach puberty. In USA, throughout the world, many. So the actual age of pregnancy today would start from age of 9. I do agree that science tells that from the time the woman becomes an adult and she reaches puberty, till the age of 29, 30, her capacity for bearing children is very high. After that, it keeps decreasing. After 30, it keeps decreasing, but that doesn't mean that after 30 you cannot give birth to children. There are tens of millions of women who have given birth after the age of 30. Science tells us after 35 it further decreases. Yet today we know millions of women after the age of 35 are yet giving birth to children. Science tells us after the age of 40 it decreases further. But yet we know tens of thousands of women who after the age of 40 give birth to children. Science tells us today after the age of 45 decreases further. Yet today we know thousands of women who after the age of 45 yet give birth to children. Science tells us after the age of 50 decreases further. But yet today there are thousands of women who give birth to children even after the age of 50. So just to give a half information and as though you're trying to agree and try to make Islam more palatable, it is uncalled for. And today, if you know, there are women, it is not impossible for a woman to give birth even after the age of 55, even after the age of 60. And according to the Guinness Book of World Record, there was a new record said in 2017, a verified pregnancy, the oldest woman that gave birth, verified means they started verifying recently. In 2017, it is at the age of 59. Verified natural birth, natural pregnancy of the oldest woman is 59. It's a new. Of course, in the past, women even above the age of 60 have given birth to children. And with the help of science, with in vitro fertilization, the world record is at the age of 74. And today, if we look at the historical records, we know Khadija, may Allah be pleased with her, she had 6 children, 4 were daughters and 2 were sons. And the youngest child that she bore was a son by the name of Abdullah. And historical records say that he was born just before the Prophet started proclaiming the message. And one record says just after. Even if you assume the latest, according to all historical records, that Abdullah was born to Hazrat Khadija, may Allah be pleased with her, and Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was 1 year after proclamation. That is when the Prophet was 41 years old, and Khadija, anha, she was 56 years old. So even if you agree that the last birth, latest possible is at the age of 56. There are historical records that the women of Quraysh even gave birth after the age of 60. That's the reason there's a famous Arabic saying that it is rare for a woman to give birth after the age of 60 unless she is from the Quraysh. And it is rare for a woman to give birth after the age of 50 unless she is an Arab. It's a saying, but there are scientific records. So it is not impossible for Khadija, may Allah be with her, to marry at the age of 60. And it says that a pregnancy was very frequent. Many were immediately after 1 year. So in a span of 15 years after marriage, or span of 16 years, if she gave birth to 6 children, what is the problem? It's not impossible. Even the critics who take objection, they say it's not impossible for women to bear children after the age of 40. So why do some Muslims go out of the way and dig up something from the past, getting some information, and then it's unnecessary, it's a fitna. But natural, after this information, you can be rest assured that the authentic age and the correct historical evidence of the age of Khadija, may Allah be pleased with her, when she married the Prophet was 40 years. That is the authentic age. That is the authentic age. That is the reason most of the authentic seerahs, they say that she was at the age of 40. So this has been brought up by some Orientalists, some critics, just by reading some books, of hadiths which were absolutely very weak and daif jiddan. And some Muslims then agreed with it. That's the reason today we're having a question that what was the age of Hazrat Aisha? Now, what was the age of Khadija Radhiyallahu anha? So these things I feel unnecessary, going in the past and taking the differences when it is unanimously agreed upon the age. It's not correct to make such things and throw statements of science not knowing the full scientific fact. Scientifically, it is very much possible. It's not impossible at all. And I do agree with the majority of the scholars. I don't agree that the age was 28. I agree that the age of Khadija radiallahu anha was 40 when she got married. Hope that answers the question.